Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Welcome to Fox Encounter. I am here with the very versatile and very talented Katelynn Newberry. How are you today, Katelynn?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing very well. I'm coming. My throat's a little scratchy, so if I sound a little rough, it's because I'm just getting over being sick.
Yeah, it is the season.
Yeah, especially here where I'm at in Arizona, the weather changes very quickly, and like my allergies are terrible. So as soon as the temperature drops like a degree, like I'm sick again.
Yeah, I do that.
So just to get started with these questions. How long have you been an actor, and what first drew you to be a performer?
So I have been acting full time, I guess. I've been a working actor for about 8 years now. So I I didn't have ambitions of being an actor. It kind of happened on accident, actually. I started in the entertainment industry as a vocalist, and I was working with this band out of Cleveland, Ohio. They're called Mushroom Head. And so they were helping me, the lead singer and the bass player, they were helping me. My cats are killing each other right now. It's like, they're like real wild, so I apologize. But I had started working with them on an EP, and the lead singer at the time, he had started acting. And one day while we were working together, he was like, "You should really try this. You might like it." And so I did, and he kind of pushed me to go to find representation and everything, and I fell in love with it instantly. And I've kind of just been doing it since then.
Yeah, you mentioned being a vocalist. I've heard some of your singing on some like music videos you've been in and stuff. Did you ever think of maybe pursuing that professionally?
Every now and then I get an idea in my head, and I'm like, oh, I could do music, because like my voice is like a natural born gift. Like I didn't have to work for this or anything, and I've had to work very, very hard to be an actor because I didn't know what I was doing. So every now and then, yeah, I do get an idea that I'm like, oh, I should do music again. But I have been so like laser focused on acting and like building a career out of this that this is, it doesn't really leave me a lot of room to go and do something else outside of this. Cause like I'm doing this, like I'm in classes, I'm auditioning, I'm on sets, like I'm creating my own content. Like this is like so consuming right now.
The content you have on Instagram is how I found you, because I was watching like a ton of videos of yours, and you're very funny. I I think you're hilarious. Like like kind of sticking to the subject of music and stuff. Like one of the first things I saw from you were the characters that you created for the Quarantine Rhapsody.
Yeah.
How did you come up with those characters?
Oh, okay. So when the pandemic happened, I live in Atlanta, and I moved out here with 4 other people, and they left. And I was in this big ass house by myself. And I remember being on the phone with my mom one day, because I was like FaceTiming my family like every day, because they live out in like upstate New York. So and my grandparents are like in their 80s and stuff, and like my parents live with my grandparents. So I was like, I can't go home. Like I can't risk exposing them to COVID when we don't really know what this is. Like I have to stay here. I'm just gonna have to be by myself. And so I was on the phone with my mom one day, and I think I was talking to my friend Matt first, and I was like, I have this idea for this stupid thing that I think I'm gonna do during this lockdown, just because like I'm bored and I'm not gonna be able to book anything, and I want to keep acting, but like I can't go be on a set, so I'm just gonna make my own stuff. And he's like, that sounds hilarious. And I remember telling my mom, and my mom was like, okay, honey. And then I sent her my first video, and she's like, Katelynn, she's like, you talked about this. She's like, I had no idea it was going to be this funny. I don't know where those characters came from. I'm going to be completely honest. And each of them, like, as I had created more content with these characters, like they each developed like different like personalities. Like my favorite character, of course, is Casey, the one that wears the mullet and the Cedar Point hat. That is my favorite character.
It's okay. I've been prepared for this. I made these.
We're not wearing tinfoil. We're all wearing tinfoil But I had no idea when I first started making them that was going to be like my favorite character. And I don't know, it just kind of like evolved on its own into like this quarantine rhapsody thing, which took me forever to make.
Mama, I'm quarantined. Haven't been outside for weeks. Binged watched all of Tiger King.
Yeah, that looked like it was very well done, and you can tell that a lot of like effort went into making that.
It's a lot of effort. It took me forever.
Yeah, speaking of your Casey character, that's like, I think that one's my favorite as well. If you remember, I shared that one to my story.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I guess you could say like when the lockdown was in full force, that kind of helped your creativity. Where I've talked to many people and they said that a lot of times it did really help, especially actors that I know, that that whole lockdown just forced them to be creative because they weren't working out there with people, so they just had to have some kind of outlet.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. I needed to do something. I didn't want to. So the acting studio that I work at, where I train, I think in the beginning of the pandemic, they had stopped classes altogether because nobody knew what to do. And then we went to Zoom classes. And I remember being like, I'm not doing Zoom classes. I'm not doing that. I'm not working with other actors through Zoom. I'm taking Zoom classes. I don't know if I want to go back to in-person classes because Zoom classes have been so amazing and so much more convenient than sitting in traffic in Atlanta for 45 minutes trying to get to, the studio that I train at. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really have anything. I didn't have classes. There were no auditions. Nothing was filming. So I was like, I'm just going to make my own stuff for fun.
I mentioned that you've done work. You're very versatile. That's what I like about you. Is I think you can do it all. You've done like work in a lot of horror, drama, thrillers, and even a period piece. Like, is there any genre you haven't done yet that you'd like to work on?
I think I'd have fun doing a rom-com. Mm-hmm. I think that would be a lot of fun. I've never done a rom-com before. I've done quite a bit of comedy. My boyfriend, Mikhail Tot, he's a director as well. And so he directs a lot of like comedy stuff. He's done like web series and stuff like that. And so I do a lot of comedy with him, but he doesn't do like rom-coms. But I think that would be fun to do. A rom-com would be fun.
Yeah, I could definitely see you doing that. I personally think like I've seen a lot of your horror stuff, and I think you fit great into that genre. But from watching your videos on like Instagram and on YouTube and stuff, I really think that like comedy could be your niche.
Yeah. I've enjoyed it. I enjoy it. I didn't know that I was funny until the pandemic hit. I had never done comedy before. And then the pandemic hit and I was like, I'm going to do something funny. Like everybody's so down and depressed and like stuck in their houses. I was like, let me make something funny. And I guess I'm funny.
That's what I like the most about you. What comes through to your performances, that you look like you genuinely are always having fun with like any role you're in.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I mean, I love what I do. I feel very fortunate to be able to do this, to like wake up and be able to audition for all of these different projects and get booked for, some really amazing things. The period piece that I did, that was one of my favorite things that I had ever done. Like I could have only dreamed of doing that. It was a neat experience. And
looking through your filmography and stuff, do you personally have a favorite project that you've worked on so far?
Definitely The Crickets Dance. That's up there. I did a movie with, if you're familiar with Chris Stuckman, mm-hmm. I did a movie with him called Auditorium 6. I love that movie.
Oh, it's a movie theater. Just
sorry. It's a ghost thing.
That was one of my favorite movies that I've ever done. I play a ghost that's haunting a movie theater, and the movie is so cute. There's another one this movie Straight Jacket that just got released on Amazon. I loved working on Straight Jacket. I had so much fun on that movie. I mean, I'm sad the whole time, but I had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, that one is, I think so far, my favorite, just because I'm drawn a lot more to dramatic roles.
Yeah.
So when I see like a very good dramatic role, especially from someone who I'm kind of used to seeing in like horror stuff or different genres, if they can do like drama, like I love that.
Yeah, I enjoyed Straight Jacket a lot. That was one of my favorite projects that I've ever worked on. It was just really well put together. The crew was amazing. For being such heavy content, we did have a lot of fun on set. We had a lot of fun on set. The director was incredible. He's super cool. He's got a lot of cool stuff coming up as well.
Are you the set prankster? Because I feel like every like movie set has at least one prankster.
I feel like I'm not ever the one that starts it. Somebody else always starts it, and I just play into it. But yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I'll prank someone. I won't be the first prankster though.
Yeah, I think I'd be that. I think I do that. That prankster, because I do that at work a lot too. I feel like if I was even if I was like a director or something, I would always be that very fun director.
Yeah, I feel like most of the directors that I've worked with have been fun, but I mean, it's a movie set, and like I feel like more often than not, people are just thankful to be there because it's just a cool job. I mean, it's stressful, it's long hours, like it doesn't come without its flaws, but I feel like for the most part, people are just like thrilled to be on set and to be working on films and to be able to tell stories.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a very unique job. It's like
oh yeah.
It's there's really nothing like it. I think that's what attracted me most to watching film and just being a film lover in general, is that there's just so much that goes into it. I've had the opportunity to talk to like stunt people and producers and writers and stuff, and I feel like all of the aspects of it are just so interesting. Even something like, you know, the rigging of the lights or cinematography, like everything about it is so awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of an amazing process. It's really cool.
Have you ever thought about any of those other aspects, maybe getting into those besides acting?
I mean, I've helped write stuff before, but I don't think I'd want to like direct. I've had people tell me that I should try producing because I'd be good at that because I don't know, strong-willed or something. I don't know. But I don't know. That's my passion and my dedication has been to acting. So as of right now, no. In the future, who knows? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'd try something. Writing's kind of fun. Being in the writing room is pretty cool.
Yeah. With a few of the actor producers that I've talked to, a lot of them were mostly only focused on acting, but ended up kind of going into producing and writing because that way they would have a lot more control over their projects.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I have quite a few friends. I actually have a girlfriend. She's based out of Cleveland, and her and I used to take acting classes way in the beginning when I first started acting. And I met her and I watched her, and I remember being like, you should really consider directing. I think you'd be really good at it. And she took that advice and she went and she's directed like 3 movies, and they're amazing.
When reading a script, what attracts you to the role? Is there any like one thing that's a deciding factor that makes you want to be involved in the project?
For me personally, characters with a lot of layers. I am personally, for whatever reason, drawn to more dramatic roles. I love thrillers, not so much horrors. I love doing horrors too, but I love psychological thrillers. That's most of the films that I've done that I feel like I've been really drawn to as a performer. They've been psychological thrillers, like Straight Jacket's kind of a thriller. But like just characters with like a lot of layers. I mean, not that any character is really 2-dimensional, but some characters are just written better than others. I think like some characters are just given more love in the writing room than other characters are sometimes, and that's kind of what draws me to them. I really love, and this is going to sound so strange, I love broken characters, like characters that are just like going through it, and I have no idea why, because me personally, that's not my life. But I have this fascination with these characters that are just like on the ground, and life just keeps like fucking kicking them. I love that. And I don't understand it. I don't know what part of my life has drawn me to these characters, but I just have this like massive soft spot in my heart for like any character that's just like fucking going through it.
Emotional damage.
I love that.
And that's probably why, because you're on the opposite spectrum of that.
Maybe. I mean, we've all gone through it at least once in life. So maybe like I have that like empathy left from, going through it once upon a time. And I don't know, but that's really, when I did Cricket's Dance, like that's how I felt about that character. Like she was just like going through it. Like her life just kind of sucked. Like same thing with, Lola from Straight Jacket. Honestly, my character from Auditorium 6, they were all just characters that were like really broken and just trying to do their best. And I just I'm really drawn to that.
And I think that goes to show to the versatility of someone as an actor, is that you're able to kind of, empathize and just kind of put yourself into that role, especially when you're the exact opposite.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So that really goes to show that, you're very talented.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And, like auditioning and stuff is a tough thing. You never really know what, the casting directors are thinking. Do you have any, how do you personally deal with, missing out on a part that you really wanted?
I feel like it bothers me for like a day and then I get over it. Just because I know that I'm not going to be fit for everything. And I also know that I have done this for long enough at this point that I know I'm going to book something eventually. I know that, especially where I am right now in my career, because now I'm auditioning for television shows and studio films and like Marvel and DC and Blumhouse and just stuff that I could have only ever dreamed of. And first off, I'm just super thankful to have even gotten to this point. So that's always there, just like that gratitude of just being where I am as an artist. And I trust the process. The fact that these casting directors continue to call me back, that's really encouraging, because it's just like them being like, well, you're not the right fit now, but I've been top 3 choice for a lot of big television shows. So that's kind of like I know that I also have a really good support system. My acting coach is incredible, and she's also an actor. I have 2 acting coaches. It's a husband and a wife, and they're incredible and constantly encouraging. And while they are working actors and they've done incredible stuff, they still go through it. They still have to deal with the same process that the rest of us do. And so it's just I'm just surrounded by people that are just it's okay not to book it. You will eventually. So I don't feel like I get bothered much by it anymore. I'm there will be more opportunities. That's it. I guess my thought process.
That's a very good attitude to have.
Yeah. I feel like that's kind of attitude you have to have. Otherwise it would kill you.
Yeah. Especially in that field of work. I mean, it's kind of a known thing that, breaking into the film industry is actually very tough. It doesn't work out for everyone. No, it doesn't. It's really hard. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of hours, a lot of training, a lot of rejection. But I feel like you have to be a little bit crazy to do this, but you also have to love it. You have to love the process. I love auditioning. I have so much fun auditioning. And when it comes to acting, do you prefer sticking to the script, improv, or a little bit of both? If they let me, a little bit of both. I love improv so much. Some of the skits that I've created, especially with Casey, have been completely improv. And I have so much fun doing that stuff. Again, with my boyfriend who directs, he lets us improv a lot on his sets. And I've worked with this gentleman. His name is Sean Manos, and Sean Manos is one of my favorite people to improv with. He's so much fun. He's got his comedic timing is perfect. So I do a little bit of both, if they let me. There are definitely some directors and writers that are very by the books, and you have to say it's very verbatim, but I a little bit of freedom as an artist.
And a race car pulls up and the guy says, "Hey, you're funny. You're the funniest guy I've ever seen." Or, "My name is not Dale Earnhardt." And that was an improv.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of, well, at least most of the actors that I've talked to is, and they very much like their actors to improv as much as they can, because like what a lot of times is like what they're laying out for a writer and stuff, or they're laying out like kind of the groundwork, and a lot of times an actor's job is to build off of that.
Yes.
Another question I wanted to ask you is if you have a certain role that you've played that I guess you could say like mirrors you the most, one where you kind of didn't have to really work on the character as much because it just kind of was already you.
I did a movie called Pretty Metal, and the writers were my boyfriend, Sean Manos, who I mentioned before, and this gentleman, Dan Edwards, and they wrote the character for me. So the character was based off of me, so I didn't have to do much work with that one. Obviously, her motivations in life in general are a little bit different. Well, they're not that much different, but they were different than mine.
That's why we need to do something that Bobby's never seen.
What we're doing is fine, Taylor. We've gotten far.
We've gotten nowhere. Chantel has an album coming out, and look at us. This isn't working.
It is working. Look, all we
No,
need to do
Nikki, it's not working. Nothing that you do works.
Yeah, she was probably the closest to me than any other character I've ever played.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one was actually pretty fun. I really dig the concept of that, and the like the costume design is also pretty cool in that one.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, I'm also like a huge fan of like set designs and costume design. If there's a TV show or a movie that has this like awesome costume design, I'm all for it.
Yeah. The girl that played, she has the short blonde hair in the movie. She did all the costume design in that.
And it felt very natural. Everybody's costumes fit whatever, like, their personality and stuff. I really dig that.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun on that one. That was a lot of fun to do.
That and the title alone is also really cool.
I know. It's a great concept. Yeah, that movie got a lot of great publicity because of all the film festivals that we were in. I mean, it won awards at almost every single film festival that we were entered into. It was pretty incredible. Pretty Metal's awesome. We loved doing that. The colors are just so great in it too. Like, it's so colorful and pretty.
Yeah. Which was kind of unexpected from a title called, with metal in the title,
I know. You would have expected something different.
Yeah, but that's what is also really cool about it is the juxtaposition of you go into something with like a preconceived notion and it's something a little bit opposite, which is what I love all the time. I always love being surprised. And you also done some work on you did work on a project called Widow's Point with Craig Sheffer. I've been a fan of his since Nightbreed. Nightbreed is like one of my favorite horror movies. That one as well is like the design of all of the monster stuff I think is like incredible. Like we don't see that in horror movies nowadays, especially like with a really big cast like that. Everyone's look was just so unique. And so I've always also been a fan of him from One Tree Hill. I love that TV show growing up when I was a teenager. But wanted to ask, like, how was it working with him?
Craig is one of my favorite actors that I've ever worked with. I mean, to be completely honest, it was just so amazing to me because he has obviously done, but he's obviously worked on much bigger projects with like Clive Barker and whatever, and stuff that had a bigger budget than what we had. And he just showed up every day and like he gave 110%. And he was just so encouraging and kind. He was just a great energy to have on set. I loved working with Craig. He was so cool.
Yeah, I always love hearing that like a lot of the people that I admire turn out to be very nice people.
He's super cool. Craig is great. His daughter was there too. His daughter played Rebecca. And she's just as amazing. She's so awesome. They were just super awesome. It was just they were great energy on set, that's for sure. And Greg Lamberson, he's the one that directed it. He did an amazing job. He was awesome to work with. He had done a couple of movies that I had seen that I was excited to, that really got me excited to work with him. So he's really cool. You look into him a little bit more.
I was also looking through some of your YouTube videos, and you actually had a little behind the scenes video of some stunt work you were doing for, was it
Called Electron Blade.
Well, hello, handsome.
Oh, hello to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was looking through that, it looked very natural, like the stunts you were doing. I was wondering, like, have you ever thought about maybe doing any kind of stunt work?
Yeah, a little bit. I got in an accident a couple months ago, which has kind of like hindered me from like doing anything like that. A lot of times with indie films, you get on set and they're like, "Oh, are you flexible enough to do this? Oh, do you know how to throw a punch? Do you know how to use a firearm?" And I know all of that, but I don't have like any formal training in stunt work. But yeah, I mean, I could. I feel more comfortable doing it now. It took me forever to like get back to normal after my accident. And that's something like the chiropractor was like, you need to like be careful with just be careful with your body right now because you're still in the healing process. But yeah, I would like to do it. That stunt specifically that was taught on set. I think I had like, I don't know, an hour to learn that or something like that.
I'm friends with a few stunt people, and then like I love I love that aspect of filmmaking because I watch a ton of like superhero stuff and a ton of like action films, and even like in the pretty much any genre you can think of, there is work for stunt performers because obviously like in horror films as well, like there's always stunt work, and I've always been attracted to that aspect of filmmaking because they're the ones that are out there, putting their bodies on the line. I think it's their performances are extremely underrated and no one talks about them enough.
I agree with you. I agree completely. I absolutely agree. That's a hard job. That is a hard job. And those people have to train constantly. That is a hard job.
Like looking through your performances and stuff and seeing that little behind the scenes video, I was like, she could definitely do some.
I could do it.
Some some badass stuff because you would look totally badass.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, it's fun. That's for sure. It's very different than what I usually do on set, but it's fun. I always get a little bit excited when they like give me a gun and they're like, "Okay, have fun." I'm like, yeah, now I'm cool.
Yeah, because that's why I was really interested when I was looking through that and saw that little trailer for Electron Blade. What actually came about with that?
Unfortunately, it is not going to get finished, and I don't know the whole entire story behind it. So Electron Blade was completely green screen, the whole entire series. And if you've actually seen the trailer is amazing.
Helps you forget for a moment just how crooked this world can be.
I discovered who the Chosen is going to be at the next calling.
Who is it? You.
But it's only one person that was working on all the special effects. And I think it was just a lot. I think it was, I mean, because that's hard. He's creating a world from his head, and I think it was just, I think it would have been easier if there were like, a team of like 10 people building this environment instead of just one person. So unfortunately, it's never going to come out.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined. Which
is unfortunate because it was a lot of fun to work on, and I loved that character so much. The character's name was Gem, and I had these tattoos on my face, and I was just a badass, and Gem was like my favorite character to play, I think.
That one, obviously, it's like safe to say that it's one of those like performances that you kind of wish would have come out so people could see it.
Yeah.
That was actually one that I was looking forward to as well. Because
everybody that sees that trailer, they're like, "Oh, when is this coming out?" And I'm like, it's not. It's a bummer. Because it's cool and it's a cool idea.
Yeah, I'm very big into like sci-fi and fantasy. So like I was interested, definitely, as well as like I said, the design of your character I thought was also really cool looking. The face tats were awesome.
Yeah, that character was so cool. The hair, the costuming. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. We had so much fun working on it. It was long hours, but it didn't matter because we were having so much fun.
And is that like the only project that's we worked on that unfortunately isn't going to come out, or has there been like things in the past like that?
No, I mean, being in the indie world, like I've worked on several projects that have just never been finished for one reason or another. Budget sometimes plays a part, like post-production costs. Like you have enough money to like fund the filming of the movie and pay the actors and whatever, and get everybody paid and fed and whatever. And then you get to post-production and your funds are just not there. And like, you need these certain things, and it just doesn't happen. Making a movie is hard. Like there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people involved, and it's just, I mean, it's difficult. So
one of the reasons why I try not to get too attached to certain things or television shows or whatever, because there have been many times where I'm just like, I love this show or I love this movie, and we never get like any kind of follow up or anything like that.
Yeah.
One of them was a recent one with DC Swamp Thing, which also got canceled because of the budget. I thought that show was
3 friends in that.
Yeah, I thought that show was amazing. It looks like a movie. Like you can tell there was a big budget behind it. Yeah. And I guess unfortunately that's what was its downfall.
Yeah. Yeah. And now there's not going to be a second season. That's a bummer. That show looked cool.
And talking about like film and stuff, because you're obviously, you know, a big fan of them, I'm assuming, since, you know, that's what you're into. Do you have like a favorite type of genre film to watch?
Not really. I feel like I'm kind of eclectic. My favorite movie in the world is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And my second favorite movie is What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, not the series. I love the series as well, though. Those are like my top movies.
If I were to have to guess, I think I could have guessed the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, I love that movie. It's so weird. Yeah, anything after What We Do in the Shadows and Rocky Horror, that's always changing. But those are I love those movies so much.
Did you have any upcoming projects? I know, like I said, we were talking about earlier, about you're very busy right now. So I'm very happy and thankful that you're able to make the time, because I know you had a lot of stuff going on yesterday.
Oh, no, but thank you for having me.
No problem. This has been very, very fun. And last thing I wanted to ask you is if you had any like upcoming project that you're excited for.
I will wrap on a project on Wednesday. That should be pretty cool. But other than that, I'm, auditioning, creating my own content, kind of dipping my toe in this whole like content creation thing. I've been releasing these like cat skits. We have a couple ideas for the evolution of these cat skits that I've been releasing. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, those cat skits are hilarious.
Thanks.
Yeah, so I'm definitely a fan, and I'll definitely be, staying on the lookout of everything you do. Actually, today, taking the time to catch up on a lot of your work. I got everything all queued up and stuff, so I can watch them. So thank you once again for joining me on another episode of Fox Encounter with my awesome guest, Katelynn Newberry. Be sure to check out her stuff. Also, be sure to follow her on Instagram at Katelynn Newberry, where she has some funny skits. Very versatile actor, very awesome human being. And thanks for watching, and keep a lookout for the next interview.
It's like, I don't want to sound corny or anything. My cats are killing each other. I'm so sorry.